Okay. Now what happens? Let us see, if we create a variable inside of a function, whether it can be accessed outside of the function. Let us check that. Okay, a local variable means, why it is local variable? If we create a variable, here x is a variable and it is assigned with 5, it is a integer data type variable, so it is created inside of this my function. Okay, here function type is void, means this function will not return anything. So the local variable created inside of this, it is belong to this function, so it can't be accessed outside of the function. Outside of the function means what? Now here, whenever you want to call this variable, now inside of main function, whenever you want to call this variable, if you want to get print of this x variable, so you will get the error. Okay, why? Because you can use this x inside of here in this function only. You want to use this x variable value, you want to get outside of the function. Let us see. I will explain within the code. So see, now total you remove this code in the code window, and I will brief each and everything. See, first of all, in C language, if I want to work with include, that is what include means import what std io standard input output header file, standard input output header file, that is main library which will be used to work with what your input output functions, like input function, scanf, output function, printf function. This is the code window, this is the result window. Okay, so next what, first of all I need to create a function in C language. How to create a function? First of all I need to define that whether it is a return type function, it will return anything. Okay, otherwise it will not return anything, it will not return. So why? Next, function name, just as anything you can function name. Function always has brackets. Okay, next flower braces. Why? Because if I want to write any statements, I want to write here inside of this flower braces. So function started, okay, now closed. Function and must be having brackets, parenthesis. Now school is a function. Now inside of this function you can say that function is created. Okay, function is created. Okay, now we need to create a variable inside of the function. So int type variable, otherwise you write float, it is up to you. Float any name of variable, x, y, whatever. Float, suppose y is a variable. Now it is float, so write 6.5, terminate. Now one variable created inside of the school function, it is a float type. Okay, and it is assigned with value. Now what happened, if you want to access this variable y, you can request print inside of this. You can printf function. Okay, printf inside of this. First of all we need to specify the format, specify this is float, we need to say, and now then after what, you need to mention the variable. This is the syntax, terminate. Now what happened, you want to get printf, you want to get the result of this y variable, whatever it is storing, that is 6.5. so you are calling this variable inside of this school function. That is okay, it is accepted. So whenever you call the school function in main function, means like here int main, okay, main function and flower braces. Now if you call this function, what is main function name? School. Function name is what? School function. Now what happened, now school function is being called inside of the main function. So under the school function, one variable created and print statement is there. You want to get the print of y variable, whatever the data stored in y variable. Surely you will get the result. Okay, this is actually, as I told you, that what happens, this is what local scope of the variable. But if I don't keep this statement comment, one variable created, y is equal to 6 point, it is float type data type. So inside of the main function, you called the function, and now see what happened. Inside of the main function, you want to call this function, because call this function, nothing will be happened. Why? Because there is no any, you are not requesting any print, just you are calling that function. Under that function, one variable is created, so you are not requesting any printf, so nothing, the screen would be very blank, because you are not asking for any printout, so the screen would be blank. So now, because school function called, but there is no any printf request kept as what? Comment, under comment. So screen will be without no result, blank. So if I want to call that function, same, this is what you copy this. I want to get print of this y variable outside of the function. This is called outside. So you will not get result, you will get error. Why? Because this y, you want to use this, its scope is now out of local scope, because your y local variable declared and defined inside of this function. But if you use here inside of this function, you will get the result whenever you call the function in main function. Okay, but now here by the statement you want to access that y variable outside of the function. You mention here you want to access the variable what? Variable outside of the function, outside of the function. So that's why you are getting error. You comment here also, okay, with this one. So why? That's why you are getting this error, because its scope is local. So if you want to access this variable, you need to create as a global variable. Global variable means you need to create the float y is equal to 6.5, whatever, 6.5. Okay, now this is what? This is local variable created in school function. This is the variable created in main function. So now this is global variable. Now you can use anywhere, there is no any problem here. Understand that you are accessing. Why? Because now this variable scope is what? Global scope. You can say that global scope. This variable scope is what? Local scope. Because why local scope? Why? Because this variable created in function. Okay, so its access level is inside of function only. Understood that? So it is access level local scope. But if you have created same variable, float variable y 6.5 assigned value in main function, so it is global variable. So its access is global scope, means you can access that anywhere, even though so see, if you comment this one and you have mentioned this is printf, now you are calling, so you will get two results here. Okay, printf y. So this is the result you are getting.